But
You're slowly cooking a baby in oil.
yeah, but still, pig cooked in oil.
Yeah.
Anyway, we ready to start?
Yes.
All right.
Is that going to be that's going to be the lead in, right? Like we're going to keep that.
We'll see. It might be.
Not lead.
Just like no context, you're slowly cooking a baby in oil.
Welcome to Beers and Booze.
1, 2, 3. Welcome into Beers and Boost. I'm Barry.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Nathan.
And this week we're doing rounds or matchups 3 and 4 of our World War Beer bracket. Just to give you an update on our bracket, we are doing McEwen Scotch Ale right now and the Hofbrau Dunkel. The Hofbrau Dunkel is a 12 seed and the McEwen Scotch Ale is a 16 seed. Let's go ahead and give a tryout to the McEwen Scotch Ale. I'll do some reading, you guys do some drinking. It's a part of the United Kingdom, brewed and bottled by Marston's PLC Brewery Road in Wolverhampton. And then it's 8%. That's all we really get on the bottle.
Go Wolves.
They're okay.
I like their logo.
I do like their logo. So, a little write-up, though. They have a Scotland Scotch Ale, or a wee heavy, is 8.5%. Quote, here's a classic wee heavy that pours dark brown color with a big malty fruit nose. Coffee and roasted malt flavors dominate with little hop presence. The residual sugars provide a dose of sweetness.
It's got the sweetness for sure.
I think it hits all of those marks.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm sensing maybe stronger hop bitterness than what they mentioned.
Well, I'm not getting any coffee.
I didn't get any coffee either, which is why I was going back.
It's got
there might be some
the
hop.
boozy, raisiny sweetness that's kind of synonymous with some of them. Ooh, there's definitely a little bit of booze burn in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't hide it, which I don't remember Scotch ales ever supposing to hide it. So, but anyway, go ahead. You got something?
No, I was going to say I like that the carbonation. Is yours like pretty heavily carbonated?
Mine
pretty
is
strong.
It's pretty smooth for mine. It's forceful. It's there, but it drinks smooth.
I feel like that forceful carbonation actually, and I'm not saying it doesn't drink smooth, but like I think that counteracts some of that sweetness, like kind of that. It has a different attack to your tongue.
Yeah, and I think it definitely helps it finish a little different on your tongue.
Yeah.
So according to craftbeer.com, if we're looking at the Scotch wee heavy, alcohol should be noticeable to hot.
Oh.
Yep, it's there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another guide, the Brewer's Guide, or the Brewer's Beer Judging Guide, or whatever. A Scottish heavy. Not examples, but overall impression: a malty-focused, generally caramely beer, perhaps a few esters, and occasionally a butterscotch aftertaste. Hops only to balance and support the malt. The malt character can range from dry and grainy to rich, toasty, and caramely, but is never roasty, and especially never has a peat smoke character. Are we thinking any of those things with this?
I'm not getting any of the peat or smoky. The malt is
Caramelly.
yeah, and I'm getting some like plum, raisin, kind of dried fruity esters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't know that we've ever drank these close to each other, but a lot of that Dubel from last week, a lot of that fruitiness,
minus the yeast punch from a Belgian.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. I like that. It does have some very heavy similarities to it, to where it's got a lot of that raisin sweetness. There's some alcohol burn to it. It's some leftover sweetness, but yeah, it does kind of remind me of a Dubel really well.
It's like a of that.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
So aromas, low to medium maltiness, often with flavors of toasted breadcrumbs, ladyfingers, and English biscuits. I don't think I got any of that. Low to medium caramel and low butterscotch is allowable. A light palm fruitness is best examples, may have a low traditional English hop aroma via earthiness, floral, orange citrus, spiciness. Peat smoke is inappropriate, which I think we've established. There is no smokiness to this. Appearance should be pale coppery to a very dark brown. Clear, low to moderate, creamy off-white head. Just the exact right amount of head on my glass. Color is a deep, rich copper color with a hint of brown.
Mm-hmm.
And then flavors, entirely malt focused, with flavors ranging from pale bready malt with caramel overtones to rich toasty malt with roasted accents, but never roasty, or a combination thereof. Fruity esters are not required, but add a depth, yet are never high. Hop bitterness to balance the malt, not to low hop flavor, is allowed, and some traditional characters of earthiness, floral, citrusy. Finishing ranges from rich and malty to dry and grainy. A subtle butterscotch character is acceptable, however, burnt sugars are not.
It seems to be
That's
hitting pretty much all the marks.
I would say it is, except for I get almost no hop in my glass. I'm not sure if that's just me, but
I might be attributing some of the bitterness from the malted barley as a type of. I might be construing that as some hop bitterness, but
Yeah, it could be, because there is a bitterness there, but I don't think it's a hop bitterness.
yeah.
let's go back to our original rankings on this one. Let's see here.
I was curious.
McEwen Scotch Ale originally got a 3.5 from Zach, a 4 from me, and a 4.5 from Nathan for an average score of a 4 when we originally ranked it, which pretty high scores. I think due to Zach's 3.5 is what brought it down to a 16 seed. But 16 is dead middle of 32, so this is pretty high ranking.
Yeah.
It's also 16 of how many beers have we had?
For World War beer alone, it's 52.
Yeah.
So it's 16 out of 52.
Not bad.
Not bad. Well, I think, like you said, it meets most of the marks. Maybe not all of them, in my opinion, but most of them.
I don't get the nose is not what you described. To me, it's almost like raisin bread without cinnamon. It's just raisin bread.
Almost no toasty aspects. I get the caramely, but that's mainly from the sweetness, brown sugar-ish kind of thing. And then a lot of raisin, like you said, raisin bread without the cinnamon. So that's kind of a letdown nose-wise. Appearance-wise, good. Character-wise, good. Flavor-wise, pretty much all the things are there. Definitely, there's absolutely zero of the things that shouldn't be there.
Right.
Which is good.
No peat, no smoke, no burnt sugar, but some caramelization on the malt.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing all right there. Let's see here. Let's go find some Dunkel stuff, and you guys go ahead and start drinking up on the Hofbrau Dunkel. I'll do some reading. I can get there.
Wow.
So there is absolutely nothing on the bottle. You guys go ahead and start giving your impressions there if you'd like, since I can't find stuff. Oh, hang on. I found it. According to their website, Bavarian beer in the Munich style. Bavarian tradition, the archetype of a Munich beer. You can taste its history. This is Hofbrau Dunkel. Long before wheat beers and lagers vetted the throats of Germans, the bottom-fermented dark beer was quenching thirst of Munich residents. The first beer, which was served in the Braun Hofbrauhaus, still satisfies to this day with its roasted, hoppy taste and subtle malty finish. Available year-round, bottom-fermented, 5.5% alcohol. Ideal drinking temperature is 7 to 8, which we established last week was about 42 degrees Fahrenheit. It uses the Hercules and Pearl hops. Brew method is decoction, and it uses Munich malt, light barley, and caramel malt with an IBU of 23.
So, my first thought, looking at the glasses and seeing pretty identical colors, was, oh my god, that flavor is so different. It's like when you pick up a glass of water thinking it's a Sprite or vice versa and take a drink and it's like, ugh. It's interesting.
So one, I do not remember it tasting like this.
I don't either.
Yeah, but it says on their website, malt floral bouquet with notes of caramel, roasty, malty, hoppy with subtle malty sweet finish.
And it's kind of got that.
But I'll shut up now and let you guys.
Well,
I think what stands out first to me, like just putting the glass to my face, is the floral nose that I'm not expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see a beer like this, you think heavy, which Dunkels aren't heavy.
Nope.
You think Scotch. You think what we had previously. When you see a beer like this and it's coming to you, and then you get there and you're like, okay, this is more. It's got some floral aspects. There's no fruit.
That is straight pollen flower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The color is maybe one of the prettiest beers I've seen in a little while.
It is pretty.
Like, that is a beautiful beer. That just sheer straight, like, it is copper to the definition and extremely clear. But where's my head at? This is a German beer.
I've got.
Didn't say low to medium head on there.
Let's see here. We'll read off some of our appearance for what the brewing judging says. For appearance, light copper to brown color, often with attractive garnet highlights. Lagering should provide good clarity despite the dark color. Large, creamy, persistent off-white head.
Interesting.
Okay, now.
So I'm looking at craftbeer.com for the German-style Dunkel. For appearance, light brown, dark brown, clear to slight haze, and then carbonation or visual is medium rising bubbles. Nothing about actual head retention, just rising bubbles.
There are rising bubbles. Yeah, it's carbonated properly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's just not holding the head at all.
Mine just got the lacing. It also says that esters and phenols are not common to style, so no raisin or any of that. Malt aroma is low to medium with chocolate-like, roasted malt, bread-like, or biscuit-like notes. Pretty close. Hop aroma and flavor are not perceived. Hop bitterness is low. Alcohol should be mild to noticeable.
Something about you saying about like the biscuit. There's definitely some of that there. The like a shortbread type aftertaste.
The aftertaste on this for me is a lot like a shortbread, but a gingerbread without the ginger.
Mm-hmm. Without that like spice.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got that base of a gingerbread cookie, but without the gingery bite. Is what the backbone of this is, and
a digestive biscuit kind of thing.
Yeah. And to go along with what you were saying, Zach, the flavor profile for this should be complex, rich maltiness is dominated by the toasty, rich Maillard products. Some caramel notes may be present. Hop bitterness is generally only high enough to support the malt flavors, allowing a bit of sweetness to linger into the finish while attenuated, not cloying, so definitely no sweetness as far as like leftoverness. You should only get a little bit of malty sweetness, and that's it. Clean fermentation, and then no roasted or burnt character. No hop flavor.
Mm-hmm. Which I think it hits quite a few of the marks pretty well, but I don't know, it feels lacking to me. I feel like there should be something else there. Like it feels a little hollow is the best way I can describe the beer.
See, and I would say that's classic Dunkel for me.
And it could be.
This is
probably my personal preference on. I never drink Dunkels, so.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nathan. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I think the reason it might be a little bit light to you, Zach, is because it is a lager. Like you kind of look
True.
at this, you kind of get the roasty breadiness. You want more of a fat tire aspect, maybe, maybe a little bit more akin to a darker, slight red ale, maybe. Um, and a lagering beer is going to be lighter, and so your lighter profile is going to feel less. And maybe that's what's given it this like kind of lacking aspect. I'm not saying it is or isn't. I don't really know what I think about it. I do have to say that I do wish there was more of a bready characteristic to it than what there is. I
Yeah.
do agree in that that's a little bit lacking to me.
What were
But
our original scores?
let's see here, Hofbrau Dunkel got a little bit better. Zach, you originally gave it a 4.25. I gave it a 4.5, and Nathan gave it a 4.25. So an average score of 4.33, which gave it its 12 seating.
Maybe it's the glass or this particular bottle. Maybe it's just too cold and we're missing out on some flavors. Because mine are
I don't.
cold.
What is
It
what
says
is
to drink
what, Tim?
it.
It's trying. It takes a minute. So McEwen's is at 49. Pull a berry.
Your glass.
I mean, yeah, mine are at 49.
Which
So it's actually warmer than what we're supposed to drink it at.
about 43 is where we're supposed to drink it. So you should be
Yeah.
getting more flavor out of it right now than what you were originally. The McEwen's is probably at its temperature of what you should be drinking it. Which I kind of think I have my notion, but I want to go back again for a second round on this McEwen's before I make my final decision here.
I think both of these are supposed to be drank fairly cold.
It is shocking to go back to that from the Dunkel.
Like the McEwen's is so sweet, it's almost sour. Like what? I know that that's a complete conundrum, or not conundrum, but complete opposite.
No, I get what you're saying.
But ooh, it like almost puckers the mouth.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like a.
I think if you do if you just did the McEwen's and you go straight to the Dunkel, that breadiness does come out a little more. Because that non-spiced. Can I just say, this one's rough.
This one's really rough. Like originally, before you said go back to the Hofbrau, I had a clear indication that I was going to go McEwen's. Then going immediately back to the Hofbrau, I don't know. And I have to say that because I think neither one is exactly perfect. Unlike last week where we had 4 beers that were to the T, to their definition, perfect. I don't think either one of these is perfect in its definition.
No.
So this really comes down to, okay, they're matched equally in that they're pretty good versions of what they should be, but they're not the best. So this comes down to personal preference at this point. And originally it was leaning towards McEwen's, and now I just don't know.
So I'll tell you a little. I'm still kind of tossing it up in my head because I feel like personal preference in terms of what I would if given the choice time after time, I just would prefer a Scotch ale. Like, I actually think the Hofbrau might be better made.
I see that. And I think I just came up with my decision. Do you guys have yours for which one's better, which one's more, which one's moving on? Get some head nods there.
I think I have mine.
Okay. I have mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put it out there. Hawkbrow is not moving on because just recently I've had a better Dunkel, and Hawkbrow is a good Dunkel, but there are much better Dunkels out there, and I'm not sure there are much better McEwen better Scotch ales, and this is a really good Scotch ale, and I think it is the better glass of the two to me today, especially knowing what I know that's out there. I think the McEwen's moves on for me. I also am not a huge fan of the smell of my Dunkel. I think it's a little too plum-like.
So, like I just kind of walked through, both of these check a lot of boxes. Both of them miss on at least one, maybe two aspects, because they're so close in that way. Like I said, I feel like Hofbrau's maybe just slightly, maybe it checks one more box than McEwen's. That's why I am just going to go with personal preference. I prefer for the Scotch ale, so I'm going to go with McEwen's.
That's two for McEwen's. What you got there, Zach?
So I definitely agree. I think the Dunkel does hit a little better, a little closer to its actual style, but I prefer the Scotch ale.
All right.
So that's 3 for the Scotch ale. I'll go ahead and fill it in here.
And we said it at the beginning of the episode last week's beer episode, and I'll say it again. Like, these are good beers.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Definitely a good beer. I do have to say, again, reiterate it, I've had a better Dunkel just in the past week. But
Which one
that
did you
does
have?
not mean this is a bad... I had the Erdinger Dunkel.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was buying all of the German beers, I was like, well, Erdinger, all of these were good. So I got all of them.
Yeah.
I almost got
which
a couple
maybe we
yesterday.
didn't do the... Did we not do the Dunkel, maybe?
We're doing the Erdinger Crystal Weiss beer.
Oh, yeah.
It was the higher score that we gave to all of their beers, because we had all of them on for World War Beer, but it was the one that got a 5. So it's the one that got the number... Wow. Huh. It's number 7 overall.
Oh, number 7. Okay.
No, number 2 overall seed is Sam Smith Lager.
Which I couldn't find. It's going to come down to just all the Crystal Weiss beers that we have. That's what I'm predicting.
We only have 2, so...
It's going to be a matchup between the two of them.
Weihenstephaner and Erdinger for the win.
All right, well, let's go get our next round matchup, and we'll let you know what we got going on for matchup number 4. All right, so also this week we are doing our number 3 overall seed with Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and then surprisingly low, but yet somehow great, Carlsberg Elephant. And some shocking late news, which earns this beer a automatic disqualification, is Carlsberg Elephant backs Liverpool Liverpool Football Club. So they can just fuck right off. Throw that away.
I really wish, I know you're in your own home and you wouldn't do it. I would have loved to see you just literally throw the bottle and just...
I'm not cleaning it.
Now, Sierra Nevada does support Chelsea, so...
They both can fuck off then, so they are both equally horrible. I will give them this. At least both of them, neither one, support Man City. Because Man City is the absolute worst.
Yes.
Hopefully we can all agree with that. Liverpool ain't much better, though. Anyway.
I know the name.
Man City was my team until very recently.
Until they were bought up by the oil barons, the slave laborers, and the shitty people that they had that own them.
Yes. It's also the reason why I don't root for Barcelona anymore, because of Qatar Airways.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some terrible people out there that own football clubs. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's not about football. It's about beer. World War Beer. Matchup 4 of round 1, the round of 32. So, like we said, we got Sierra Nevada, our number 3 overall seed, and Carlsberg Elephant. I don't know how, but our number 17 seed.
Probably my score, if I had to guess.
Let's go back in and Sierra Nevada, unanimous 5s. We even have 4 5s on the board because Sam Matt was on for an episode and gave it a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still alive? Do we know?
We don't know. Haven't seen him in a while.
He posted his turnip prices in Animal Crossing this morning, so I hope so.
Or maybe his wife's playing for him. Carlsberg Elephant.
R.I.P. just in case.
Carlsberg Elephant got a 3.5 from Zach, a 3.75 from me, and a 3.5 from Nathan for an average score of 3.68. 3.66. So it was our number 22 overall beer at a 52.
Still not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. Well, let's go ahead and attack Carlsberg Elephant while we're talking about it and its seating.
Smells exactly like you'd expect a green bottled beer to smell.
Oh, and oddly enough, I've grown to love them. Well, certain ones.
So, we've talked about it so many times. I don't like skunky beers. That's why I gave the Insane OG such a low score. But this one, it does it. Personally, personal preference, like, so good. I don't know how well it fits its actual style, but I do actually like this beer.
Which, let's talk about styles and let's do some reading while you do some drinking. Unforgettable, pale gold in color, Elephant is a rich, malty character with a hint of caramel and a balance by satisfying dry bitterness. Once enjoyed, never forgotten. And a little write-up here about it. They're from Denmark. It's a Denmark Euro strong lager, so 7.2%. The color is light gold amber, and the foam as white as the tip of waves of the oceans. The hop content in Elephant gives it a masculine bitter bite to the beer. I gotta say, head retention.
What
hot garbage.
Yeah, there's none.
Yeah, I don't know that it's...
I have a small ring.
Ring, yeah.
Head is short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
I oddly enough love this beer.
I love it. I love it so much.
The smell is such a turnoff to me, but then I taste it, and I'm really happy that I'm drinking it.
Oh, man. All right.
See, I don't even find it... Like, skunky in my mind means, like, off-putting. I don't even find it off-putting anymore.
No. It's got the right level of skunk. I do have to say that it could be classified either way. So the brewers judging people guidelines for our closest thing, it would be a pale malty European lager. Our closest one might be a Munich Helles, as other ones that I'm looking at don't quite have a thing. It's kind of like how Yingling, their classic lager, didn't have a classification. The strong Euro lager doesn't have one in this. I know you guys have some stuff, but overall impressions of a Munich Helles, a clean, malty, gold-colored German lager with smooth, grainy, sweet malt flavors and a soft, dry finish. Subtle spice, floral, herbal notes, as well as a restrained bitterness to keep the balance malty but not sweet, which helps make this beer refreshing, everyday drinker. That's a decent comparison to what this is.
Yeah.
Minus the fact that this is 7.2%, so it's going to be a little sweeter. It's going to be a little more amped in everything.
So
it's literally strong.
I did find an overview for a just strong lager from Absolute Beer.
That's what I got pulled up to.
Okay, well, I can talk about it or you, however.
Whichever one you...
So
before you go reading, according to Beer Advocate, it's classified as well as a Bock beer. So you guys read. I'm going to find a Bock beer.
Okay. Quick facts. I'll do the strong lager on Absolute Beer. Its characteristics are crisp, clean, grainy, alcoholic, and light-bodied. ABV ranges between 7 and 10. IBUs range between 5 and 15. Should be served between 39 and 45 degrees. The strong lager contains more malt for fermentation, and yet will have relatively low hop levels. The appearance ranges from straw gold to light copper. Its head is moderate and short-lived. The aroma has perceptible alcohol along with sweet grain. Flavor includes multigrain, alcohol, and no perceptible hops. The mouthfeel should be light, crisp, and somewhat grainy. The brew lacks hop bitterness and usually packs a wallop of alcohol.
It kind of fits that bill.
The amount of mentioning of alcohol makes it seem like it should have more, but for a 7% beer, no. Like 7, like they're talking about an alcohol content of a 10% beer. And now, granted, maybe other countries that don't do. I've got some beer foam in my mustache. But other countries that don't do your very typical 9% beers, like American beers, Americans love the super strong craft beer of 9 and 10%. So 7% is probably fairly high for them. And the alcohol is there a little bit, but it's not even close to what that Scotch ale was, which was only 8%. So, I mean, we're only talking about a little, 0.8 of an alcohol percentage higher. I did find its actual classification. It's actually classified as a Hell's Bock, because the other definition of a Hell's Bock is a strong lager. Even though a Hell's Bock is based in Germany, its other classification is a strong lager. And pretty much as you were reading, I was reading, and it's the exact same thing as what you just said.
Yeah.
Minus the brewers judging people or whatever mention a little bit less alcohol. That's all it is. They don't say that alcohol is as prominent, but it should be noticeable, and the hop characteristics are just bitter enough to give backbone to the malty sweetness.
Barry, if you ever brew one of these, can we call it to Helsenbach?
You got it. You got it.
I love it.
You got it. I gotta say though, this is a damn fine beer.
Oh, it's
it really
great.
is.
So we've established.
You would expect. I do get a little bit of the alcohol on the back end. Like after everything goes down, you get kind of that back of the tongue.
It's
alcohol.
there.
Yeah.
But you would almost 7, especially above 7, because this one's supposed to be like 7.2. That's the point where you start thinking like, oh, this might be maybe a little harder to drink. Like maybe a little like a more of a sipping. This thing goes down way too easily.
Yes.
It goes down like a plain Pilsner or plain lager, just like start pounding them.
And I want to come back to it in a minute and talk about it more. But I don't want to let the Sierra Nevada get too warm. But I think establishment cases so far, we have established that the Carlsberg Elephant meets pretty much everything we've read about it, and we all three like it. So it's going to be a tough matchup because I know what's coming next, and that's Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. You guys want to do some drinking? I'll do the reading. And this nice 1980s original packaging. So, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, 5.6%. The Pale Ale in your hand sparked the American craft beer revolution. Beer bold and complex with pine and citrus notes from whole cone Cascade hops. This Pale Ale was first brewed in 1980 and introduced a generation to the glory of hops. Our Pale Ale is still a classic, and Sierra Nevada Brewing Company is still 100% family-owned, operated, and argued over.
So, on the topic of packaging, when I was buying this, I did see it looks like they've updated it. Unless it was a special edition, I don't know. They had it was white instead of green and had some new designs on it, but
their old one. They've got 2 1984 rebrands, so they came back out with the packaging.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got the greener, lighter one. The other one is white. And I actually like it a lot more. It's got an older vibe to it.
Yeah, a little retro.
There are so many pale ales that I have to get through a lot of them to get to American Pale Ales. There it is. Okay. American Pale Ales. Overall impression. A pale, refreshing, and hoppy ale yet with sufficient supporting malt to make the beer balanced and drinkable. The clean hop present can reflect a modern or classic American or New World hop variety with a wide range of characteristics. So, as we've established just in the first 3 sentences alone, this can be a lot of different things. On average, it's a hop forward pale ale with the American hops, generally balanced and more accessible than the modern IPA. Aroma should have moderate to strong hops with American or New World hop varieties. Cascade should include some citrus, floral, pine, or resiny, or spices, or tropical fruit, or stone fruit. Again, so many different classifications. But as we mentioned before, this kind of is the original. It's also the benchmark. There's a reason it got 4 5s all the way across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you guys take it over from here, as I haven't drinking it yet.
I mean, what is there to say about pale ale we haven't said? Like you said, it's the benchmark. It's got the piney. It's a little resiny. It's crisp. It's easy to drink. It's got the hops. Just a hint of malt to kind of balance everything out. Like it's so easy to drink. I have this in my house so often. I bought this for the podcast, and instead of buying one or a 6-pack, I bought a 12-pack because I knew I would drink them all.
Hilarious how little I have this beer in comparison to how amazing it is.
I usually rotate this and Torpedo.
I call that the Boston Lager conundrum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oddly enough, Boston Lager's coming up soon enough as it is.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I do also want to say, on Beer Advocate, when I looked up European Strong Ale, Carlsberg Elephant, number 1, with 810 rankings, with an average score of 284. Oh, it's not the highest.
Whoa.
But it's the first one they talk. What are you sorting by?
What were they sorting by? Because I saw that ranking. I didn't look at the...
Yeah, the average score is 285. I think it's sorting by the number of ratings. So Carlsberg Elephant is the most rated beer.
And so the most popular, but not necessarily the highest rated.
No. We're not going to count that one. I don't know any of those. We're just not going to count them. All of the top rated ones are like 1 and 2 ratings, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, there's only one for... Let's see. The highest average rating is with 79 different ratings, so that's at least a good number, is Samichlaus Schwarzes.
By
From
Braure Schloss Eggenberg.
Eggenberg. Mm-hmm.
And
on Untapped, Carlsberg Elephant has 46,000 check-ins.
Damn.
And has an average score of 3.07.
Not terribly far off from us, honestly.
Oh man, there's one. I was just looking for ones that have like at least a good amount. There's one with 37 reviews with a 3.57 rating from Minipivovar u Medviku. I think it's might be Icelandic. It's called X Beer 33, and it's 12.6%.
Should try this now just to see how bad that is.
12.6.
Let's head to Reykjavik.
Yeah, it's Czech Republic.
Oh, Czech Republic. Okay.
Yeah. And Pale Ale is on the top of APAs with the most ratings, but an average score of 4.05. A lot higher than
And
Carlsberg.
a Beer Advocate rating of 90. That's a pretty damn high score for Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Now, I have to go back to when we originally brought this beer on. I know for sure Zach and Sam were not giving this beer a 5. And that didn't happen until I had my spiel. So please go back and listen to that episode, find it. I don't know what episode number it is. But my spiel was, and I think the reason why this gets our 3 seeding overall, is because this is the American beer. Like, the American beer is not Budweiser or Bud Light or that kind of junk. Like,
Yuengling.
beer drinkers of America are... Yuengling's a good beer, but what sparked just like they say on their bottle, what sparked the whole idea of beer in America is Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. There's a reason today it's still the highest rated pale ale. There's a reason it comes up on every single Brewers Association, beer drinkers of the world, when they talk about top 10 beers, period. This beer is always not in the top 10, but in the top 5, and a lot of times number 1. This beer is synonymous with American beer for the people who know what beer is.
This may be an unpopular say, but this is the Corvette of the American beer world. It is, when you think of America, you think Chevy Corvette, you think pale ale.
Yes. No, I agree there. And the Corvette is better than what you think of. Like, you're like, oh, a Chevy Corvette. It's Chevy. It's American. But then you go and drive one, and you're like, oh, wow.
That's why
that's a really good car. This is a really good beer. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say it, but I already have my answer, and that's Sierra Nevada's Moving On. Like, that's a damn good beer.
I really do like the Elephant, and I really do urge any of you to go find it, go try it. But I'm a pick pale ale. As often as I keep this in the house, as often as I drink this, I can't not love that beer. I don't ever get tired of it. We getting another 2-1?
No, we aren't. I will say I think I enjoy Carlsberg more than Sierra Nevada. I just think it has more.
It's got more like character. It's different from the norm.
Yeah,
it's different.
Because we always talk about for a couple of years now we talked about control groups, and Carlsberg would not be what you would call a control group of anything. It is a conglomeration of different ideas of different beers put in together as one. Sierra Nevada is not just the control group; it is the baseline for what pale ale, specifically American pale ale, is.
Absolutely.
And so, in terms of importance and how well it's made, I have to vote for Sierra Nevada. But if I'm just if I got a wild hair up my ass and just want to have like a crazy fun beer to drink, I'm probably going to choose Elephant over it, if only just because it's more of an experience.
I agree.
So I've had beers like that, and I don't know if I've ever said this, but there's those beers that you keep in the fridge. You keep the Pale Ale, you keep the Torpedo, Ranger, whatever.
The house beer.
When you're out and about and like, oh, I want to do something different. That's Elephant. That is your...
That's Old Rasputin.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that the Carlsberg Elephant is the perfect green bottle beer. And for people who have drank... Yeah, for people who have drank a beer out of a green bottle, there's that skunky aspect to it. There is just enough here to give it the extra level of character, to go with the lager aspect, to go with the 7%. It is a fantastic beer, which brings me to my next point. Pinkus Munster Alt and Boddington's Pub Ale seem to not be findable. And this is not a...
Both of us found Boddingtons.
I found 5 different 4-packs in Liquor World and Macadoodles yesterday.
Or...
Boddingtons.
All right, so somebody has Boddingtons, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But Pinkus
Munster Ale.
Pinkus Munster Alt beer.
Pinkus Munster Ale.
Has anybody found that? Because I haven't.
I didn't look for it.
Okay. So. My thought is we're probably not going to see it. And this is not a round-robin tournament. But Carlsberg Elephant got the short draw here. As we can't find Pinkus, does Carlsberg get a second chance?
Because of its relation to...
Pinkus is going to go up against Varsener's German Pilsner, which is the number 26 overall seed. I argue Carlsberg Elephant just got a bad seeding, and we have a beer that's not going to be able to be back on the podcast. this beer is probably better than almost any other beer that's below a 10 seed. And it went up against a beer that might go to the finals.
Can I make this even more complicated for you?
That's what we do here.
In our next grouping that we're planning on drinking, we have Pilsner Urquell.
Yes.
Should it lose to a rather high seed for us, by the way, should we pick between those, this and Pilsner, to go up against?
Take the place of Pincus.
Yeah.
I like that even better because Pilsner Urquell got the same short end of the stick that Elephant did.
Yeah.
Both are good beers, really good beers. It just so happens that seeding, regional matchups, dates, all that jazz equaled out to be two really, really good beers got really shitty matchups.
So we do a
Zach, what are you thinking?
like a death match with the last of them. So we do maybe 3 rounds. We do our normal with Pilsner. We do whatever the next one is, and then a final shootout between Carlsberg and Pilsner for like a little bonus to see what takes its place.
Yeah.
Get them side by side.
I mean, that is assuming that Urquell loses.
It is. I mean,
That's
Urquell
true.
may beat Guinness.
That's a tough battle.
Guinness is our number 4 overall seed.
But Urquell is legendary on the podcast.
But in a good way.
In a good way.
It is legendary in a good way.
That's assuming I can find it or you guys can find a 6-pack and we can split it. Because I can't find it.
And I have no problem buying another Carlsberg.
Me
No,
either.
I'm good with it.
Me either. Okay, so Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is moving on. We kind of knew that
Shocker.
would happen. Yeah. Just because it's that good. It is
It
the
is the-
definition of pale ales
It's
in
the
America. Yeah, but it also is just fantastic. It's fantastic beer. Carlsberg Elephant. I knew this would be a close race, but I kind of also knew who would win.
I know we're not doing scores on these. This is pure head-to-head competition. Would we revise our scores on Elephant now?
Carlsberg Elephant, 3.5 Zach, 3.75 me, 3.5 Nathan. What do you think?
He's thinking 4.25.
I was thinking. I was thinking. Yeah. Which it actually makes our maybe it should be the backup to Pincus because it would have been seated differently. Maybe.
If Zach, if you gave it a 4.25, you go ahead and you give it your grade, and I'll do the math here and tell you where it goes.
He's going 3.75. He's going to bump it up just a little bit.
That's kind of where I was leading, but I'm actually going to go 4.
I'm gonna go 4. So that would put it exactly the same with Iceland, the Icelandic white ale from Einstök, which
Ooh.
got the 13 overall seed.
That's a damn good beer.
It goes up 4 seeds and would go up against a Doppelbock.
It'd probably be the Doppelbock in my mind.
It would probably beat the Doppelbock.
Which Doppelbock?
The Aventines.
Yeah. No, this would beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would. Yep. An adjusted grade gives it a different matchup. But that's what we graded it on originally. But yes, second round grading, I love that beer.
Yeah. Well, I'm all for having a, just a mini replacement tournament between this and Urquell.
If Urquell loses.
Yeah. If Urquell loses.
If Urquell doesn't lose, then Carlsberg Elephant takes Pincus Münster's place. But if we find Pincus Münster, we have to go Pincus Münster.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Carlsberg. You got what you got.
It's a sentence you hear all the time, but we have to go with Pincus Münster.
I say it daily.
All the time.
all the time.
What we could do if Urkel moves on and we can't find Pincus, if we have another one of these matchups where like this is really tough, whatever loses, we could face against Carlsberg to give it a second chance. It could just always be the backup for those tough bouts.
So Carlsberg is the backup. If we can't find a beer and there's a tough matchup, Carlsberg is the backup.
This is the car that always followed the three guys in Top Gear on their.
Perfect. Perfect.
If one of them falls out,
it's the Volkswagen Beetle.
this is the Beetle. This is the Beetle. Yeah.
Yep. Title of the episode: This is the Beetle.
I almost feel bad for Sierra Nevada now because we've actually talked up Carlsberg more than it now.
Yeah. Well, there's not so much you can say because Sierra Nevada is that good. It's just like it's established. That's what it is.
It's the Barry shrug, just like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What I find hilarious though is you guys can't see it because I haven't shared it with you yet. But Sierra Nevada is going up against Yingling in the Bitter 16.
I probably have the winner. It is somewhat tough, but no, I think I know.
Well, we'll find out in the Bitter 16. Two American, like legit American classics besides Boston Lager.
God.
Anyway, stick around. We'll have another episode for you tomorrow where we do Pilsner Urquell versus the Guinness Extra Stout, as well as, let's see here, Sam Smith versus Belhaven Black Scottish.
It's going to be a fun episode.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Have a great week.